Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Gaura Nitai, 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 Jaya Radha Kunj Bihari, Radha Kunj Bihari, Radhe, Jaya Radha Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Aladeva Mai Subhadra, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Bala Gopal, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Govardhan, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Bala Gopal, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnu Paramhamsa Paripatagacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhagavatam Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnu Paramhamsa Paripatagacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Ama Veda Bhaktivinoda Ki Tagore Premanande. All glories to some Lord. All glories to some Lord. All glories to some Lord. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasim Tato Jayamudiriye Nastaprayeshu Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Reading today from Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, text number 29? 29, right? Okay. Let me get my flashlight out because my eyes are bad. Janma Guyam Bhagavato Ye Tat Prayato Naraha Sayam Pratir Gunam Bhaktya Dukkha Gramar Vimuchyate Janma Guyam Bhagavato Ye Tat Prayato Naraha Sayam prater garnan bhaktya dukkha gramad vimuchyate. Janma guyam bhagavato ye etat prayato naraha sayam prater garnan bhaktya dukkha gramad vimuchyate. Janma guyam bhagavato ya etat prayato naraha sayam prater garnan bhaktya dukkha gramad vimuchyate.
Janma guyam bhagavato
Janma guyam bhagavato
ya itat prayato nara
ya etat prayato naraha
sayam prata renan bhaktya
sayam prater garnan bhaktya
dukkha gramad vimuchyate.
dukkha gramad vimuchyate. Janma guyam bhagavato ya etat prayato naraha sayam prater garnan bhaktya dukkha gramad vimuchyate. Janma, birth. Guyam, mysterious. Bhagavata, of the Lord. Ya, one. Etat, all these. Prayataha, carefully. Nara, man. Sayam, evening. Prataha, morning. Granan, recites. Bhaktya, with devotion. Dukkha gramat, from all miseries. Vimuchyate, gets relief from. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Whoever carefully recites this mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Please repeat. Whoever carefully recites this mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead is declared that anyone who knows the principles of the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord will go back to Godhead after being relieved from this material tabernacle. So simply knowing factually the mysterious way of the Lord's incarnation in this material world can liberate one from material bondage. Therefore, the birth and activity of the Lord, as manifested by Him for the welfare of the people in general, are not ordinary. They are mysterious, and only by those who carefully try to go deep into the matter by spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. And thus one gets liberation from material bondage. It is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the appearance of the Lord in different incarnations, in sincere devotion, can have insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. The very word vimukti, or liberation, indicates that the Lord's birth and activities are all transcendental. Otherwise, simply by reading them, one cannot attain liberation. They are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulations of devotional service are not entitled to enter into the mysteries of His birth and activities. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksudo Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Ayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsta Shri Rupam Sargajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Nauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Whoever carefully recites this mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and evening gets relief from all miseries of life. So, again, this is text number 29. In this chapter entitled, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So we read yesterday that Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, that of all the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So this is mysterious, or otherwise known as Guhyam, which means confidential. So in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna explains this Guhyam. He says in the second verse of the 9th chapter, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam. Raja Vidya means king of all knowledge. This king of all knowledge is Raja Guhyam, the most confidential. In fact, what's the title of chapter 9? Bhagavad Gita, what's the title? The most confidential knowledge. Yes. So, if I say, I have a secret, what happens to all of us? Oh, tell me. I want to know this secret. This is the nature. So, actually, our Acharyas explain that there are like 3 levels of confidential knowledge. The first confidential knowledge is the topic of the spirit and the soul. Then the topic of pure devotional service. And ultimately, the most confidential knowledge is knowing the mystical potencies, the opulences of Krishna, which is explained in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So after explaining the most confidential knowledge chapter, he goes into the details of his opulences and his greatness. And this knowledge is confidential in the sense that not everybody is aware of this information. Not that it should be kept confidential, but it should be kept confidential from the envious. Krishna says, don't explain this knowledge to the envious. To the envious. And one might wonder why Krishna is saying that. If somebody is envious of Krishna, maybe we should explain to them so they can become uplifted, right? Lord Krishna is very kind because he knows that when we have envy of Krishna, we cannot tolerate hearing the glories of Krishna. Just like we may have some experience. How to know if we are envious of somebody? Simple. When we hear the glories of somebody, we feel pain in our heart. Why this person is being glorified? They don't do this, they don't do that. I do this, I do that. When there is not happiness in the heart, hearing the glories of somebody else, that is a sign we have envy. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Haridas Thakur. When he sees the other devotees being glorified, enjoying with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart becomes filled with happiness, even though he is not enjoying. He is sitting outside, unable to attend and participate. So this envy, Krishna says, don't explain this guyam, this confidential knowledge to the envious. Why? Because when they hear my glories, they'll become upset and they'll create more offenses and thus go further and further away. So better they not hear and not make offenses. So this confidential knowledge, it is meant for those who have some desire to awaken our eternal relationship with Krishna. Then we become qualified to begin to hear this confidential knowledge. So this verse has a few very important statements in it, and Prabhupada illuminates them in the purport. So let us first understand. So this verse is giving us like the result of studying this chapter. So you'll see this in the end of many chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. That by hearing this pastime, such and such will happen. By hearing this activity, one will achieve this result. So the fruit, the pal of each study is given. So what is the fruit of studying this chapter? It says that one gets relief from all miseries of life. Dukkha grama vimuchyate. So how many of us want relief from all miseries of life? All of us. Every day we wake up wanting to be free of all miseries. So how to get it? It says here that one must carefully recite this mysterious appearance. Now, it says with devotion. So this is very important. Just like Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. You offer to me a leaf, fruit, flower, or water. Then he accepts it? No. He says, Yo me bhaktya parayachati. That you must offer to me with love and devotion. So we see the same word here, that Grinan Bhaktya. So Grinan means, again in the translation we read, it means to recite. But recite with devotion. So this Shastra must be approached in the mood of love for Krishna, worship of Krishna, surrender to Krishna. Then this knowledge will be revealed in the heart. If we read this Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada often talks about these professional reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam. They give and they recite Srimad Bhagavatam, not with love, but for money, for business, for fame, for different purposes. Then the nectar of this Srimad Bhagavatam will not be revealed. Because it is mysterious. So the mystery must be revealed to us. And that's why Krishna tells us in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Tadvini paripatena pariprashnena sevya upaktekshate gyanam jnaninas tattva darshina. that we must approach someone who is tattva darshina, that is that darshana, that has seen the truth. If they have seen the truth, what happens? They can show it to us. So if we want to know about some mystery, we have to find somebody who has solved that mystery and hear from them. This is the process of Guru Parampara. And if we do hear in this way, then the result will come. So the result doesn't come just automatically. And it's a simple thing, right? Let's say, for example, I like to use this example a lot because it's very relatable. If I go to the gym, just going to the gym and entering the gym doesn't guarantee that I'll get a fit body. I have to follow the process under guidance, right? If I go and just start moving things around and lifting it, I am likely to hurt myself, or at least I'm not going to get the result I want. The result must be applied properly, under guidance. When that happens, when I get some trainer and say, show me how to move this equipment and how to do it in a sequence and in a system in a proportion that's right for me, then what happens? The result comes. So the result is not automatic. So just reading this Srimad Bhagavatam will not guarantee anything. We must do it according to the process. And the process given here is bhaktya, with devotion. The other word that's given here is that it must be done carefully. Not whimsically, but in detail. One must carefully study in order for it to enter into the heart. So we heard this in the first chapter. You know, this idea of attentive hearing, submissive hearing, you may remember. Right? We talked about not just hearing, but hearing with good attention and with this submission. Then the knowledge will enter into the heart. So reciting this appearance of the Lord, it must be done appropriately. And Prabhupada writes at the end of this purport, they are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulations of devotional service. So, in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, there are prescribed processes of devotional service. It is called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. There are 64 angas of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So what does this mean? This means that bhakti, in our initial state, in our purificatory process, is not just performed whimsically. I just do what I want. It's an expression of love, free will. No. Bhakti is performed according to prescribed processes. These 64 angas of devotional service. And when one practices these 64 angas, these regulative processes of devotional service, with attention and with precision, under the guidance of Guru, what happens? Prakritim riddha sadyate. One of the verses, Kritit sadhya, bhavat sadhya, bhavasa sadhanabhida, nitya siddhasya bhavyasa, prakritim bhavata siddha. That when one does this sadhana bhakti, the regulator practice, the heart, the natural love for Krishna awakens in the heart. So, but one must follow the process. And an example can be given like of a matchstick. Right? A matchstick has the potentiality of fire. Right? Within that matchstick is the potential for fire. Like that, in our heart lies pure bhakti, pure love for Krishna. But what happens? It has gone dormant. Covered by our interactions with the material world, it has gone dormant. So we have to awaken it. how to awaken that fire from that matchstick? If I try to rub that matchstick against like a smooth glass surface, will that fire awaken? No. I have to strike it against some surface with friction that will create some heat. That heat will make a spark. That spark will turn that matchstick into fire. So there's a process. Similarly, how to bring out that dormant love of Krishna? If we follow these 64 angas of devotional service, then it will happen. So Srila Rupa Goswami, being instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has given us these 64 angas of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And we should study them and understand them and practice them in our daily life. Not just practice devotional service whimsically, according to my own understanding. That actually comes later. Because in the initial stage of devotional service, the inspiration to do bhakti is not yet natural in the heart. It is an external impetus. By the orders of Guru and Shastra, one practices devotional service. But when one masters that, they come to the next stage of bhakti, which is Raganuga bhakti, in which the inspiration to come to serve is coming spontaneously from the heart. There is a natural desire. Because the heart has been sufficiently purified, it is past the anartha nivritti stage, that all the anarthas have been removed from the heart. Then one can follow the heart naturally. But if I follow the heart while it is full of impurities, what happens? I will make mistakes in my bhakti. I'll make mistakes in my service. So how to become free of the anarthas? This regulative process of devotional service. And so in these 64 angas, the first 5 speak about one topic. Guru. One must accept a bona fide spiritual master. This is the first step. One must accept, one must surrender to, one must inquire from, one must render service to, one must follow detail of Guru. So Guru gives us the access to the rest of the angas of bhakti. And in these 64 angas, there are 5 most potent angas of bhakti. 5 potent angas. Any of them are sufficient to awaken bhava bhakti and ultimately prema bhakti. And what are the 5? Chanting the holy names, worshipping the deity, serving the devotee, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and living in the holy Dham. So how compassionate Srila Prabhupada is upon us? He established the morning program in such a way that just right in the morning, one will perform each of these 5 most potent angas of sadhana bhakti. Everything Srila Prabhupada did was by design. You know, why we awaken to Mangal Arati and chant the Gurvastaka prayers. Because our day starts with offering obeisances to Guru. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is the author of the Gurvastaka prayers, says that if one recites these prayers for 12 years, one is guaranteed service in the spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada established, get up, attend Mangal Arati, and chant Gurvastaka prayers. This is our process of serving the deity. Yes, we may not be pujari serving the deity, but by being and dancing for the Lord, by singing for the Lord, playing kartals for the Lord, we are worshipping and serving the deity. Right? We are giving the Lord some pleasure. The Lord loves to see His lost children. Right? Like when children come home to see mother and father are so pleased and happy. So similarly, this first activity is worshipping the deity. Then after Mangal Arati, what do? We worship Tulsi Maharani. She is the devotee in Vrindavan. She is the enabler for us to render service in Vrindavan. That's why we begged her, please give me the privilege of devotional service. Make me your own maidservant. So we are worshipping Tulsi Maharani. Again, in the process of worshipping Tulsi Maharani, what do? Before we start to worship a Tulsi Maharani, what happens? We close the curtain. We don't offer obeisances to Tulsi Maharani until the curtain is closed. Why? Because it is exjoined that one should not worship. This is one of in the 64 angas of devotional service. Also, it's explained what we should not do. The offenses. And in the offenses, there's beautiful offenses that are given that guide us. And one of those offenses is one should not glorify anyone in front of the Lord. So again, these details, but they are important. So we worship Tulsi Maharani. So this is the second anga of these 5 most potent angas. Then, what do? We chant our japa. Chant the holy name of the Lord. During this Brahma Muhurta time. This time before sunrise is the most potent time. And Srila Prabhupada enjoy it by setting up this morning program. That, hey, you practice this anga in the most important time, most potent. Then, residing in the holy Dham, right? When I think, why I have to come to the temple? I can do it in my home. Well, that is true if we are not able to come. But if we are able to come, why? Because this is the holy Dham. This is the magnanimity of the pure devotee. That they can bring the holy Dham wherever they go. But wherever Krishna is the center of all activities, that is Sri Vrindavan Dham. So this home of Shri Shri Radha Kunj Bihari is non-different from the spiritual world, from Sri Vrindavan Dham. And then of course, the 5th anga, reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Srila Prabhupada established every morning there should be Bhagavatam class. So by the time we start at 4:30 and end at 9, we have completed all 5 of the most potent angas of bhakti. This is the regulative process that will awaken this dormant love for Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada was very exacting in his process for us. Even he enjoined that in morning there should be Srimad Bhagavatam class and also in evening. Often there is Bhagavad Gita class. What does this verse say? When should we carefully recite the appearance? Morning and evening. So we pray that we'll also start evening Bhagavad Gita classes. Because this is what should happen. Let us see. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Gaurnitai, Radha Kunjaya, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, Srinachi, Bala Gopal, Girikovar, and Guru Parampara. But this is the process. So all we have to do is take the formula and follow it. And don't let our false ego dictate what I should do and what I should not do. If I follow the process as it's given, it's guaranteed to work. Just like if I go to the gym and I follow the process of the trainer, the result will come. But if I don't, the result won't come. And in fact, I will probably do more harm than good. So similarly, this is the process. So now in this verse, Prabhupada writes that in the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of God has declared that anyone who knows the principles of transcendental birth and activity of the Lord will go back to Godhead. This is a very powerful verse where Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha Tyakva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti sorjana. It says that janma karma, anybody who knows the janma and karma, birth and activities of the Supreme Lord, will get liberation. Now, that seems like an exaggerated statement, right? So many yogis are doing so much intense austerity and tapasya. So many different, processes are there to try to get liberation, moksha. But what do we actually need to get moksha? Simply know Krishna's janma and karma, the nature of his appearance. So how is this possible? So Krishna's appearance again is very guyam, mysterious. But if we unlock that mystery, there is a result. So Krishna appears not like us. Krishna appears when he wants, to whom he wants, and where he wants. When, to whom, and where. Now let us ask us, did we get to pick when we appeared? Did we get to select our birthday? Did we get to select where we appeared? What country, where we appeared? Did we get to pick? Did we get to pick our parents? Oh, I like these two people for my parents. They're very nice. Did we get to pick? No. How was it determined? Randomly? Was it selected randomly, our birth? Based on? Based on our past actions? The modes of nature arranged for us to take birth in this circumstance. It is forced upon us, but not forced randomly. It is based on our past activities, our qualification. But Krishna's birth, he gets to choose. So herein lies something very conclusive for us. That Krishna is supreme and we are inferior. Said more accurately, Krishna is master, we are servant. If we simply understand this principle, we go back home, back to Godhead. Why? Because servant knows. What is their only activity? To serve Krishna. It's so simple. If I am servant, my activity is to serve. But who do I have to serve? I have to serve Krishna. Every day I wake up, I have two choices. Either I can serve my senses or I can serve Krishna's senses. That's it. One of those two choices I make. If I serve Krishna's senses, what happens? I go back home, back to Godhead. And if I serve my own senses, what happens? Bondage in this material world. What does bondage mean? When I engage in material activities, any activity, there is some associated karma. Either good karma or bad karma. And that good karma and bad karma will be collected in my account. I have a bank account, a karma account. And if I end this body with balance, either in my good karma account or balance in my bad karma account, what happens? I have to come back and collect them. Nobody's going to take them for me. I have to come and collect those accounts. So I come back next life and I collect those credits. But what happens? In that life, I do more activities. And what happens? I make more deposits into my good account or bad account. And that account builds. And at the end of that life, there's some balance left. And so what happens? I have to come back again. And how long this goes on for? This is bondage. This is what bondage is. We are bound to this material world, not by ropes, but by our misaction. Because I chose to serve my senses. That is the result. But if I serve Krishna's senses, what is the result? Aham tam sarva papebhyo. I'll take all your sinful reactions. So what does he do? He empties our account. In all the action we do, no new karma comes. No karma associated with devotional service. And on top of that, one experiences relief from all the miseries of life and finds real happiness. So, if I know about Krishna's Janma, just that is sufficient to conclude, I am servant, he is master. And if I act in that role, liberation. But if I further study Janma Karma Chame Divyam, if I understand the nature of Krishna's activities, whole 10th canto is going to be dedicated to the activities of Krishna. If we try to go from first canto, third chapter, text number 29, and we try to go straight to 10th canto, what will happen? We'll be completely confused by Krishna's activities. We'll not understand his activities. We'll see how the Supreme Lord can be a thief and steal. We'll see Krishna will tell lies. How your Lord can be untruthful. We'll see Krishna will take married girls and dance in the middle of the night. What kind of Lord is this? This is what the untrained mind will conclude. So to know the nature of Krishna's activities, one must go systematically through Srimad Bhagavatam. And prepare the consciousness to really understand the activities of Krishna. So understanding the Janma of Krishna is still relatively easier, right? He appears when he wants, to whom he wants. We saw so many presentations of when Krishna appears in these different forms. But to understand the activities of Krishna is not so easy. So, how to understand them? We have to see Krishna's activities through our ears. I cannot see through my ears. No. By hearing about Krishna's activities through the eyes of our acharyas, who have tattva darshina, who have understood. When we see through their eyes, by hearing from them, then we understand the appearance and the activities of Krishna. But if we hear about the activities of Krishna from an untrained person, what will happen? Our entire bhakti vinashyati, vanquished, spoiled. Why? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that milk touched by the lips of a serpent, it looks like milk. right? But what happens when we drink that milk? Done. It looks like milk. When this Srimad Bhagavatam is touched by the unscrupulous, the Mayavadi, or the motivated presenter, it is like drinking milk touched by the lips of a serpent. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warns us to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam very carefully. We should not let anything enter into our ears. We should be very discerning. So that's why, again, whoever carefully recites, we should be very careful. And hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Srila Prabhupada is our guaranteed success. Because he is pure Acharya coming in our Guru Parampara. And if we do, we follow these regulations, the regular process of devotional service, we can come to understand the Janma and Karma of Krishna and attain relief from all miseries of life, become liberated, and go back home, back to God. So we have to follow the process, and if we do, the result, the phal, the fruit, is guaranteed. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada. Any questions, comments, discussion? Yes?
So in the beginning you were talking about the envious and like how we should not hear, but I've also heard that like we all came here because we have envy in the spiritual world. So like how to think about, like I'm not free from envy and stuff, but yet hearing Bhagavatam, you know, how to...
Yeah, because you're right, we are not free from envy. This body is the symbol of our envy. As soon as we are completely free of envy, we'll have no more body, because we'll just serve Krishna. Of course, great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, they come, but they are jivan muktas, they are liberated persons in the body. But we are not in that state. But set that aside. But we are desiring to become free of that envy. That is the difference. So when the desire is there to become free of the envy, right? There are 6 impurities in the heart: lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, and illusion. These are the 6 impurities of the mind and of the heart. So when we desire to become free of them, then Krishna brings us into the shelter of his devotees who can guide us in that process. That's why, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that, in Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto, we see many pastimes described as the killing of the demons. And sometimes we wonder, I don't want to hear this killing of the demons. I want to hear Krishna playing with the cowherd boys, Krishna eating butter, Mother Yashoda binding him dancing with the gopis. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that when we hear these pastimes like killing of the demons, they are extremely important for us. Why? Because each demon represents a specific anartha, impurity in the heart. And when we hear that pastime, we help to remove that impurity in the heart. So these demon pastimes are very powerful for us. Particularly for someone like myself who has a demon-like heart, that by hearing them, we can remove these anarthas. Right? So the envy is there. But we are trying to remove that envy. And thus, we can approach Srimad Bhagavatam. It's okay? Any other questions or comments? Yes? Huh?
You want to tell the impurities again?
Yeah, there's 6 primary impurities. There are many more unearthers, but 6 impurities are pride, envy, anger, greed, lust, illusion. So, when we come to the material world, it starts with envy. Why you, why not me? We said to Krishna. Why you get to be the boss? I want to be the boss. Okay, you want to be the boss? You can come to this place and try to be boss. What are we all trying to do? As Prabhupada said, we're trying to lord it over nature. We're all trying to be bosses, controllers. That's it. We're all trying to be controllers. Small child in the house is trying to be controller too. Grown adult, all trying to be controllers. But we cannot be controller because there is one Ishvara Parama, one supreme controller, and that is Krishna. So it starts with envy, and then builds into pride. I'm the boss. Look at what I am doing. I become illusioned. I become forgetful that I am spirit soul, eternal servant of Krishna. I become filled with lust, intense desire for material things. That leads to greed and anger. Anger because my desires will not be fulfilled, so I get frustrated and angry. And greed, when it is fulfilled, it's not sufficient. I want more. So these 6 are all interrelated. And they all combine into envy. Envy is like the summation of all of them. Because envy is a very evil force. What is envy? I have a nice iPhone. Envy would be, I'll say it better. You have a nice iPhone. Envy is, I want that iPhone. But I don't want you to have it. Not I have what you have, I want what you have. I want it and I want you not to have it. Jealousy is I want what you have. But envy is deep, it's very evil. Because not only do I want it, I want you not to have it. So this evil force, we have to purify. And that's why Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagya Nivapanam. This Cheto Darpana Marjanam, how to cleanse the heart? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And how we should chant our rounds? Very nicely. During the Brahma Muhurta time, as Srila Prabhupada gave us in this morning program, very nicely. And that is the recipe. So these are the 6 impurities. They take on many other varieties, but these are the 6 principal impurities. Okay? Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Check out